I'm Reuben Wells, work with AgLogic on Ratho with John Ramsay's farm. He's an irrigated cropping farmer we've been working with for a few years now. So we've got the VRI on now, John. We've been through a fair process to get it working. I was hoping you could just run through that from your perspective.
A big process. This is our second VRI machine. The EM38 mapping and the drainage modelling, which you'll probably talk more about, they just work out in theory where spuds or crops are going to get overwatered and underwatered. So that's pretty good. Reuben comes up with a plan of where we think, and then so he thinks that this area might need 100% and this area might need 50%. That's all good on paper. The next step is where there's a lot of work in terms of ground truthing that. That is a lot of walking around with a spade going, yep, Reuben's put this zone down as that, but it's not right because of this, so we up that zone. We've got app on your phone there, you can walk around and map new zones. You go, no, this area here's, over here it's getting too wet, so we map that, and then that then gets put up into our computer system, which then, on the computer I can then change that back to the rate that we probably want. It's labour, it takes a lot of time. So it depends how much you want to put into it. It's like anything. If you want to get it exact and in high value crops, it's probably worthwhile, to get those little acre zones that are getting too wet or too dry. There's a lot of time and effort goes into it and a lot of skill and expertise. But if you're just if you want to stick with Reuben's plans, they're pretty good, so I'm sure you could just do that for the season and get reasonable results. Depends how much you want to squeeze out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a very complex process to create those plans, and when we're doing it from a desktop basis, I think we're always hoping for the best, but it's impossible to get all of the variables. We will try and incorporate natural accumulation of water due to the shape of the surface of the ground as well as the texture of the soil, which is what the EM38's giving us. But every paddock's wonderfully different in that situation, and the nature of VRI is we're always getting the best return when we use it on the most difficult paddocks, so it does make life complicated.
Yeah, it's a long process, but I think you can see the rewards when you're seeing spuds are getting wet and you see the pivot walking over it and it's just not watering, and you just go, that's fantastic, but it's watering the dry ones that need it. And that's been a constant battle with us on this big machine in the last few years. Is some areas need watering, some don't, and you can't do anything about it. So it's a nice tool when you get it right.
It is, and you also talked about the importance of the ground truthing, and I think from our observation of people using VRI machines, they're effective just using the base maps, but they really become extra effective when they're being constantly tuned and constantly updated throughout the season. It's a very dynamic system of soil and water and plants, so it really needs a little bit more input during the growing season to get the most gain.